Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Radley Metzger.
Take it off! Take it off!
We said the movie starts at midnight. We'll wait unless they just want to banter or you got a question. We can chat with you.
I got a question for her.
Yes, sir.
If we wait, will they applaud again?
You know what? These people.
We sure will.
Yeah, guys, wait. Let's wait. Mr. Radley Metzger. Guys, Mr. Radley Metzger, Mr. Lynn.
Touch me!
The answer is yes. They'll do anything I want. Before we do a score. Lynn,
how did you end up? You've had this resurgence the last few years where you're appearing in film after film after film. How has that experience been, and specifically, how was George's intervention?
Well, it's been great. I mean, I guess it started about 5 years ago, and I realized that I drink your blood and shivers, and I started going to the conventions, and just started getting all these, films to do. And I did a film called Psychosomatica that Jeff Dylan Graham directed, which hasn't come out yet. And J.T. Seaton, who wrote it, directed George. So that's how I met him, and he wrote this part specifically for me in the film. So what did you guys think of it?
So good. It was actually funny, wasn't it? It was with all the zombie films coming out, I thought it had a nice little twist on it.
Right.
I thought it was kind of funny because the last time you were here, you also had one of the better independent films too with
Basement Jack.
Basement Jack. That was a full house screening too. So Lynn's not only revived her career on a roll right now, but she's getting some real good independent films as far as I'm concerned. So at least they're going over well at the Wasteland crowd. So when she's here, that's a good thing. Does anybody have a question about George's intervention for Lynn? Go ahead.
I have a comment. I've made my family really into zombie flicks, and this was a nice change in it for once. Because usually you see them and they're kind of the same kind of things that I can appreciate a zombie apocalypse because I would kick ass. But I mean, it was a nice change when we watch Intervention at home, so I've been looking forward to buying the movie and sharing it with my family. It's a weird family film.
Well, actually, they're going to make a sequel, which is going to all take place in the rehab. And I'm not obviously not playing the character that I played in this film, but I think I'm playing her sister or something. So I'll be a nurse or something in the rehab thing. So it should be pretty
Sweet
fun. And also, J.T. Seaton has a short coming out called Divination, which we'll have probably up on YouTube and different festivals. And it's very good. It's very scary, and I play a fake psyche. So look out for that.
Look out!
From interventionalist with no cards to fake psyche. It's not a far stretch. See, I told you if we got a little closer to midnight here, we get a crowd. Anybody else? We were talking about George's intervention. If you were here for it, you have any questions for Lynn? Anything to say about it? Yeah, you guys are supposed to write one good question on a note.
You got no cards?
She might.
In my pocket.
Why don't you tell the story, since it's a Lynn Lowry story that I just read in an upcoming interview, why don't you tell the story about when you first met Malcolm McDowell on the set of Cat People? What's a good story?
Well, I was in the dressing room, and the makeup lady was putting makeup on, and Malcolm walked in, and he had this robe. He came in to get makeup, and I'd never met him before. And he walked over, and he dropped the robe, and he was totally naked.
Oh, that's great.
And he put his hand out and said, "Hello, I'm Malcolm McDowell. Nice to meet you." So I was like, "Whoa."
Pretty opening out there.
So you should have just looked down and said, well, apparently not. Sorry, it's getting late, and that's the way my mind works.
As opposed to earlier in the day when you would never say anything off color.
I would never tell anything like Jesus jokes to a room of 200 people. That's not my style at all.
I'm gonna start crying. I have to go to church.
Yeah, well, I'll start just because we can blab as long as they will. So, for those of you who just walked into the room, we're going to be showing score. And of course, we have star Lynn Lowry and director producer Mr. Radley Metzger with us.
Come on the glass.
Thank you.
We have two luminaries in the house right now, and it's all very exciting. Mr. Metzger, how did you first get involved in film?
Well, actually, it came from an allergy that I had when I was about 13. It was pre-air conditioning, and the only place you could get relief from hay fever was going to movies. And it was, I actually, at the age of 13, had a license to deal and live in this alternate reality known as motion pictures, because I would go to the movies in the afternoon and movies at night, because it was prior to antihistamines. And whether or not, you don't know which came first, the allergy or the urge to seek out an alternate reality, which is what a lot of 13-year-old kids do. But it kind of took effect, and when I got into college, I went into philosophy, but I realized I didn't really have the kind of basic talent that acting required, sacrifices. I, never stopped to figure out if I had any other basic talents, but I kind of gravitated toward film. Because you touch a lot of bases. It's as I said, it's another world that you live in. You can kind of go through the looking glass and live there, and it satisfies all your needs to be a control freak. Because the only work that was available in motion pictures in New York at that time was in post-production and editing, and the rest of it I owe actually to the state of Ohio, because I got into the Air Force and I was stationed in Dayton, Ohio, which is the center of motion picture activity, research and development. And working for the government is another way of having endorsed waste. There's no such thing as waste when you work for the government, so you could learn and make all the mistakes, and it was a really very valuable experience, the years I spent in Dayton. And when I got out, it was just prior to TV commercials, and so I drifted into foreign film distribution, which meant making trailers and dubbing.
Didn't you have a hand in distributing the earlier movie titled I Spit on Your Grave, the 1950s?
Yes, I was able to, I formed, well, first of all, I made an independent shoestring production. It actually wasn't shoestring. We didn't have enough money for shoestring. But it was one of these labors of love where you shoot and then you stop and work and get some money to shoot some more. And taking that around to the distributors, I met all the independent distributors and found work with them. And one of the acquisitions that we had was a French film called I Spit on Your Grave. There's a big confusion with that, because it was a French film about an African American whose brother is lynched in the South, and he seeks vengeance on white people. And it was a brilliantly little made film by people that had never been to the United States. So the film had a lot of errors in it, and nobody wanted to distribute it. But I was a film editor at the time, and even a mediocre film editor would have seen the little changes you could have made, little nips and snips and cuts, and they could have made it presentable. Someone came to us at the time and said, "We love the title, we love the movie, would you let us buy a percentage of the film?" And we said, "No, we didn't do that sort of thing." So they went out a couple of years later, whoever asked us, and made a horror film called I Spit on Your Grave, and there's a lot of confusion between the two. The French film has not been in release for 20 years, and we hope to put it out again, and if you see it, it's a wonderful film.
They changed the name. I can't remember what they changed the name to. When it was released, it wasn't public. Did they release it under exclusive?
Yeah, they did. Sure.
The horror picture?
Yeah.
Oh, yes.
Yeah. No, his picture. Yeah.
Nobody's ever heard
It's
any more of a French film.
Well, it was based off of a book too. Wasn't it originally based off
Yeah,
of
it
a
was
novel?
based on a hoax. There was this writer. He was a writer. He was a drug addict. He was an actor, musician, and his name was Boris Vian. And he wrote this book in the first person. And it was very scandalous because the vengeance he takes is on seducing white women. And it was thought of as a real